On behalf of Indira Gandhi National Open University, I am Subhashish Maji welcoming you for this video lecture session. Today's topic is simple compressible substances. This topic is from the course Thermodynamics and its applications. In our earlier discussions, we had discussed about different thermodynamic properties like pressure, volume and temperatures, but those are not the only properties of the substances. There are several thermodynamic properties, but we will only consider of simple compressible substances. Objective of today's discussion is, after listening to this video lecture, you will be able to understand the concept of phase, explain the saturation states, recognize triple point, explain the property diagram and describe dryness fraction. Obviously, we will try to do some numericals on this topic so that your concept becomes very clear. Simple compressible substance. The word simple compressible implies that the only work mode is the PdV work mode. Pure implies substances composed of a single chemical species such as water, ammonia and nitrogen, and so we exclude all mixtures of two or more substances. Any two independent thermodynamic properties are sufficient to establish the stable thermodynamic state of a controlled mass composed of a pure simple compressible substance. Now we have already discussed about the intrinsic properties. Those are independent of mass. Thermodynamic properties are the properties such as pressure, temperature and volume. Stable means an equilibrium state. Any two independent intrinsic thermodynamic properties are sufficient to establish the stable thermodynamic state of a pure simple compressible substance. Now, any two independent properties are required to define the state of a system. If you want to find out P, then if you know T and V, that is temperature and specific volume, you can easily find out the P. So P, pressure, is a function of temperature and specific volume. Now if you think for internal energy U, that can also be a function of temperature and specific volume. The choice of the independent variables is arbitrary. In our discussions, when we discuss about P is equal to P within bracket T and V, that means P is a function of temperature and specific volume. Temperature and specific volumes are considered as independent variables. Now, the choice of the independent variables are arbitrary. We may choose P is a function of internal energy and temperature, or P is also a function of internal energy and specific volume, and U may be a function of pressure and temperature. So we can say that any two independent properties can define the state of a system. Phase changes. A phase can be defined as any physically homogeneous aspect of a system that transforms from one phase to another, namely melting and freezing, vaporizations and condensations are known as change of phase. Now, you might have noticed that ice is a solid, and if you supply heat onto the ice, that will melt and it will become water. So it is a phase change from solid to liquid. Now, in this diagram, you see that how the phase change occurs, and this diagram, in this diagram, energy is taken in x-axis, and in the vertical axis, that is the temperature. Now, you see that if you have ice, that is a solid phase of water, and if you supply heat, the ice starts melting. But so long as it melts, its temperature will become constant, and the temperature will not rise even though you supply heat to the ice. When all ice melts, then even if you supply heat, then the temperature will rise, say from 0 degree to the higher degree, and if you keep on supplying heat, the temperature of water will increase from 0 degree to 100 degree. After that, if you supply heat, the water will be transforming into vapor phase, and so long as complete conversion from water to vapor occurs, till that during the phase changes, again the temperature will remain constant, and when it will be complete vapor phase, even if you supply heat, the temperature of vapor will increase for that case. Now we see that phase changes means any substance is changing either from solid to liquid or liquid to gas, or in the reverse case, gas to liquid and liquid to solid. Now see, when solid to liquid phase change occurs, it is known as the melting. So we say the melting of ice because it is changing from ice to water, and it is changing from solid to liquid. But liquid to solid, suppose water is there, and if you keep that water inside the deep freeze, it will be transforming into ice, that is a solid state. So liquid to solid phase change is known as freezing, and liquid to vapor phase change, that is boiling, and vapor to liquid phase change is condensation. Solid to vapor phase change is sublimation, because sometimes it happens that if you keep a solid, even in the normal conditions, immediately it will transform into vapor. That is the case of camphor. And vapor to solid phase change is known as deposition. So you see that if you supply heat to the ice, it will be transforming into water, that is a solid to liquid, and again if you heat water, it will be transforming into vapor, so liquid to vapor. But the reverse process is also possible. From vapor, if you take out heat or if you cool the vapor, it will be transforming into liquid, and if you cool the liquid, then it will be transforming into solid. Say for example, water to ice. We are talking about simple compressible substances. Simple compressible substances are used in many engineering, including power plants, many refrigeration systems, and thermal distribution systems using water or steam to transport energy. Now this is a diagram. In this diagram we will discuss about the liquid phase. Now this diagram is very simple. There is a piston cylinder arrangement, and here inside the cylinder we are keeping water, and we apply force onto the piston. So you see that if you apply force and if you know the area of the piston, you can calculate the pressure, and the pressure can be calculated with a pressure measuring device. And see, the water is a control mass confined within this system, and you know the mass of water, and if you know the volume inside the piston cylinder, so So volume per unit mass will give you the specific volume, and here you see that you can at any moment you can calculate the specific volume. So you can calculate pressure, you can calculate specific volume, and also you can measure the temperature of water with the help of a thermometer. Now you see, let us carry out some experiment, and we are keeping the temperature constant. Say for example, T is constant at 100 degrees centigrade, and the control mass, that is water, is under pressure. Now what is happening over here, if you move the piston in the outward directions, what will happen? The volume will increase, so there will be change in specific volume V, and pressure will decrease. So at different specific volume we can calculate different pressure, and we can perform it at a constant temperature. That is, we are keeping the temperature of water at a constant value, say for example 100 degrees centigrade. Now we can plot at different specific volume with pressure versus specific volume. We can plot the curve, and you see that if you decrease the pressure by moving the piston in the outward directions, the pressure is decreasing, but there is a slight change of volume. Why I am telling you this is a slight change of specific volume will be there if you reduce the pressure, because water is considered as a compressible fluid. Water is considered as a incompressible fluid. Now we will talk about the saturation and phases. As the volume of the system is increased further, that means the piston is moving in the outward directions for a constant temperature process, we find that after the control mass reaches a particular volume corresponding to the point C, the pressure of the control mass remains constant. You see that you are reducing the pressure, and when the pressure reaches at the point C, then even though you are moving the piston in the outward direction, but pressure is not decreasing. But in your previous case, when it was the control mass, that is water, was there, that time if you reduce the pressure, there was a continuous change in specific volume. But in this case, what is happening, that at point C, it has reached to a particular point, and even the piston moves in the outward directions, so the pressure is not changing, but specific volume is increasing because you are moving the piston in the outward directions. But if you further decrease the pressure, if you move the piston in the outward directions, you will find that pressure remains constant to a particular point. And why the pressure is constant? Because here there is a change of phase takes place, and from point that in the horizontal line, from the extreme left hand point to the extreme right hand point, it will be a two-phase mixture. That means the water will be converting into vapor. Now here you see we will introduce a very important property that is known as the dryness fraction. It is also termed as quality of vapor. It is a measure of the relative proportions of vapor and liquid phases in a mixture. How do you define dryness fraction? The dryness fraction of an equilibrium liquid vapor mixture, X, is the mass fraction of vapor in a mixture. So X we can define as mass of vapor whole divided by mass of vapor plus mass of liquid. If the mass of vapor is defined as mg, and if the mass of liquid is mw, so total mass will be the mass of vapor and mass of liquid, and mass of vapor is mg, so X is expressed as mg by m. Now you see that at any moment in the two-phase mixture, the total volume is equal to volume of vapor plus volume of liquid. So Vx is the total volume, is equal to Vg plus Vf. What is Vg? That is the mass of vapor and Vf is the mass of fluid. Obviously, that is a mixture consisting of, say, vapor and liquid. So M is the total mass of the mixture. So we can write that Mf is the mass of liquid and Mg is the mass of vapor. So we know that Vx is the total volume is equal to total volume of vapor plus total volume of water in the mixture. So M into Vx, because Vx is the volume per unit mass. So total volume will be M into Vx is equal to Mg into Vg plus Mf into Vf. Just you divide M in all terms of the above equations. So we can write small Vx is equal to Mg by M multiplied by Vg plus M minus Mg by M into Vf. Why I am writing M minus Mg? Because Mf is the mass of the liquid is equal to total mass of the mixture minus total mass of the vapor. So here we know that Mg by M is termed as X, that is the dryness fraction. So Vx is equal to X Bg plus within bracket 1 minus X, because M minus Mg by M we can write 1 minus Mg by M. So we can write 1 minus X into Vf, the final expression. Final expressions we can get Vx is equal to X Bg plus within bracket 1 minus X into Vf. Now this is a very important expressions. So if you know the dryness fraction, you can calculate the properties, that is specific volume. In the same way, we can get the other expressions like enthalpy, internal energy or entropy, that will be introducing you when we will discuss about the second law of thermodynamics. Now see, since we have got the expressions for Vx, so we can extend the above relationship to derive other intensity properties such as Hx is equal to X Hg plus 1 minus X Hf and Ux is equal to X Ug plus 1 minus X Uf and Sx is equal to X into Xg plus 1 minus X into Sf. Now superheated vapor. Now suppose you are while moving the piston in the outward directions, you are reducing the pressure, and suppose you have already come to a point where all the liquid has converted into vapor, but still you are moving the piston in the outward directions. In that case, you will find that the pressure is decreasing, but the mixture will be in the superheated region. We can say that is the superheated steam. Here, the process of constant temperature was halted at the state D, because you at the point C, the just converting of water to the vapor just started. Now, if you reduce if you move the piston in the outward directions, that means you are reducing the, when there is a change of phase takes place, that time the pressure will remain constant till all the water particle becomes vapor. After that, if you move the piston in the outward directions, the pressure will decrease but temperature will increase. That means it will be in the superheated, you will get the superheated vapor. So here the process of constant temperature was hot at state D, as we have mentioned, and the control mass had just been completely changed to the vapor phase. Now this is the PV diagram. So in our earlier case, we have done the process for measuring pressure versus specific volume at a constant temperature, but here we are doing the same process by keeping a different temperature. That means we will get a different isotherm line. So we will get a series of lines, and you will see that there are horizontal lines, those are in two-phase mixtures, and if you increase the temperature or isotherm temperature, then you will see that the length of the horizontal line will decrease, and at particular point, if this horizontal line will disappear, we say that it is in the critical temperature it has reached. Now, whatever we have discussed, that how the phase changes takes place if you move the piston in the outward directions, that means if you reduce the pressure, and for the curves you will get for different isothermal line, that means we have to perform the same experiments again and again for different temperature, and you see that the blue line is representing for saturated water, and the red line will represent the saturated vapor line. And inside the dome, the substance is as a two-phase mixture. It is a mixture of vapor and water, and on the right side of it, it is in the superheated region. Now see, this is the same figure we are explaining again, because here it is clearly shown that we are doing the experiment for different temperatures. For different temperatures, we will get different isothermal lines, and ultimately we will get a dome, and within the dome, the substance is as a two-phase mixture. Now, here you see in this diagram, we are getting a point that is the triple point, and triple point is the coexistence of solid, liquid and vapor. Means at that particular temperature, all the three phases will coexist, and the critical point, that is the top of the dome, in that case the liquid will be transforming to vapor without change of phase, and below the critical temperature we call it is vapor, and above the critical point temperature we call it is a gas. Now we will discuss a very important equation that is known as the equation of state. It is possible to develop mathematical relations among PVT, pressure, volume and temperature data, or other property sets for a particular substance. Such relations are called equation of state. The most useful equation of state we all know is the ideal gas equation, which relates PV and T through PV is equal to NR bar T. What is P? P is the pressure, V is the volume, N is the number of moles, and R bar is the universal gas constant, and T is the temperature in Kelvin scale. So this equation, but these equations we can write in different forms. So let us see how we can write the same equations in different forms, because the N is the number of moles. Generally, this form of equations is extensively used by chemistry and physics areas. But in engineering applications, we use the mass of the substance. Now, let us see how we can write the same equations in different forms. We know that the number of moles of gas N is equal to the mass of the gas divided by the molecular weight of the gas, capital M. Here capital M is the molecular weight. Hence the equation of the gas may be written as PV is equal to nRT, but if you put the value of N is equal to small m by capital M, then we can write this expression PV is equal to m by capital M RT. So then if you transfer m at the denominator of the on the left hand side, so it will be P small v. V small v is the specific volume per unit mass will be equal to RT. But here R is the characteristics gas constant defined as R bar by M, universal gas constant by molecular weight. So here you see that P small v RT. So this we will use several times while analyzing our thermodynamic system. So there are other properties of the ideal gas. we know that for ideal gas, internal energy is a function of temperature only. So U is a function of T. We will write in terms of mathematical expressions like U is equal to UT. If U for the ideal gas depends only on temperature, so Cv is equal to du by dt, because if you differentiate that U is equal to UT, so we will get du is equal to Cv dt. So Cv, that is the specific heat at constant volume, is equal to du by dt. That is the change in internal energy with respect to the change in temperature. Now we know that there is another property, that is enthalpy is equal to U plus PV, but U is a function of T and PV is equal to RT from our earlier state equations. So we can write H is equal to UT plus RT. So H is a function of temperature. Again dH is equal to Cp dt. In turn we are getting Cp is equal to dH by dt. This is one more term which will be used again and again for our future analysis of thermodynamic system. Now we see that H is equal to U plus PV and H is equal to U plus RT. Just differentiate these expressions with respect to temperature. So dH is equal to Cp is equal to du by dt plus R. But du by dt is equal to Cv. So Cp is equal to Cv plus R. So Cp minus Cv is equal to R, where Cp is the specific heat at constant pressure, Cv is the specific heat at constant volume, and R is the characteristic gas constant. Now here let us solve some numericals so that the concept so far we have discussed will be crystal clear for us. Find the properties of a mixture of steam and liquid water at 6 bar containing 40% liquid. So if 40% liquid is there, definitely 60% vapor will be there. So if 60% vapor is there, then dryness fraction or the quality of steam will be X is equal to 0.6. Now if you know the dryness fraction, so any properties you can get. So let us take for example corresponding to the 6 bar pressure, the Vf, that is the specific volume of fluid you can get from this steam table. These values are all given for different pressures. So you go to the steam, you just look at the steam table for 6 bar. It is given as Vx is equal to 0.0011009 meter cube per kg and Vg is equal to 0.31546 meter cube per kg and X is equal to 0.6. Put the value of the equations for Vx is equal to X Vg plus 1 minus X Vf. On the right hand side all the terms are known. Put the values, you will get the final Vx equal to 0.189716 meter cube per kg. But with the similar way we can also calculate the value of enthalpy, entropy and internal energy for these conditions. Let us take another example, that steam boiler has a total volume of 3 meter cube. Initially it contains 2 meter cube of saturated steam and 1 meter cube of saturated liquid at 30 bar. Calculate the mass of vapor, mass of liquid, quality of the steam and its specific internal energy and specific enthalpy. Let us see how we can solve this problem. Here you see that total volume of boiler is given as 3 meter cube at 30 bar. It contains 2 meter cube of vapor and 1 meter cube liquid. So this means that the boiler initially contains a mixture of water and vapor, and volume of vapor in mixtures is Vg, that is mg small Vg, but mg is equal to 2 divided by 0.0666 because total volume of vapor is given as 2 meter cube and Vg, that is the specific volume of vapor for that particular pressure is known from the steam table. So we can calculate mg is equal to 30.03 kg. Simply the volume of liquid in the mixture is equal to Vf, Mf is Vf at Vf. So Mf is equal to 1 divided by Vf because 1 is the total volume, and Vf is the specific volume of the fluid at the particular pressure. That can be we can get from the steam table. So after getting the value of Vf, that is 0.0012165 from the steam table, we can calculate the Mf is equal to 822.16 kg. So quality of steam or dryness fraction of steam X is equal to mg divided by mg plus mf. Mg, that is the mass of vapor, we have already calculated 30.03, and the mass of vapor and mass of liquid are already known. Now just you use these values in the expressions for the dryness fraction. For calculating the dryness fraction, it will comes out to be 0.035. Now the total mass of the mixtures Mf plus Mg is equal to 852 kg. Now if you want to calculate the enthalpy of mixtures, so you know the dryness fraction, that is 0.035. Hg and Hf you can calculate from the you can find out from the steam table, put the values in these expressions and calculate enthalpy of the mixture. In the same way, we can calculate the internal energy for the mixtures knowing the dryness fraction X, Ug and Uf you will get from the steam table. Put the values, you will get final mixtures. Internal energy for mixtures is 1015.74 kilojoule per kg. Now let us discuss some objective type questions, because we have earlier discussed about different properties. So this question is, it is the basis for the temperature measurement. There are 4 options are given: zeroth law of thermodynamics, first law of thermodynamics, second law of thermodynamics, and law for stable equilibrium. So here we see that which one is the correct answer, because we know that zeroth law of thermodynamics gives the basis for the measurement of temperature. So the option A is the correct answer. Now the question number 2 is, an ideal gas at 27 degrees centigrade is heated at constant pressure till the volume becomes 3 times. So if the initial volume is V1, final volume will be 3V1. So the question is this: an ideal gas at 27 degrees centigrade is heated at constant pressure till the volume becomes 3 times. What will be the temperature? You see that in this case the pressure is constant. So we know from ideal gas equation that P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. But since it is a constant pressure, so P1 is equal to P2. So final equations will come: V1 by T1 is equal to V2 by T2. So V2 is equal to 3V1 and T1 is given as 27 degrees centigrade, but you have to convert it into Kelvin scale by adding 273. So T1 will be 300 K, and put all these values like V1, V2 and T1. If the final temperature will be as 900 Kelvin, and that if you again convert it to Celsius, it will come to 627 degrees centigrade. So the answer is the option C. Now we started with the simple compressible substances, and there we discussed that simple compressible substances are water, ammonia or nitrogen. Only PDV work mode is there, and we will discuss only for the pure compressible substance in our subsequent discussions. And we have seen the change of phase, how it takes place for the liquid, and there may be change of phase takes place from solid to liquid. There may be a change of phase takes place from liquid to vapor, and in the reverse process is also possible. Suppose some vapor is there, if you cool it, it will be condensed into water. If you further cool it, then the water will be converting into ice. So any change of phase takes place from solid to liquid, liquid to vapor. Reverse is also possible from vapor to liquid and liquid to solid. So we discussed about the dryness fraction. How we can calculate dryness fraction? That is defined as the mass of vapor divided by the total mass of the mixture, and mixture consists of the liquid as well as vapor. Now let us summarize our discussions very quickly. We discussed the concept of phase, we discussed the saturation states, we discussed about the triple point, and also explained the property diagram, and also we described dryness fractions and solved some numerical so that our concept will be very clear. Thank you very much. Today let us finish over here. If you have any difficulties, you can ask questions through mail or WhatsApp number. So if you have any queries, kindly ask questions, as many as questions is possible. We love to answer your questions. Thank you very much.